What does Zyn really give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but also real freedom to do more of what you love, when and where you want to do it. Why bring Zyn along for the ride? Because America's #1 nicotine pouch opens up all the possibilities of right now. With Zyn, you don't just find freedom, you keep finding it. Find your Zyn. Learn more at Zyn.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
So now that the local historians are making their way around this team that has been Roy's for a lifetime, David Dwork, who does the hockey show with Roy sometimes on Fridays, says 4 seasons ago the Panthers hadn't been out of the first round since 1996. Now they're headed to a third straight conference final. Barry Jackson writes, whether they win another title or not, these 2022-2025 Panthers are the second best pro team in our market this century, behind only the Big Three era Heat. For a franchise to repeatedly make this many good personnel decisions is something to behold.
I just got goosebumps, legitimately.
I mean, those Canes, they were a pro team.
Yes, I'd say the Hurricanes as well, of early 2001, best college football team I saw before Burrow's LSU team. I just genuinely don't know, as we welcome in our beloved Chris Wittyngham, the fancy lad, how this person is capable of showing his face in public with as wrong a take as there has ever been in the history of this market and in the history of sports. We have now on take, we want to play for Wittyngham an assortment of bad takes that we have here, okay? He's responsible for 2 of them, Stugotz.
Wow.
Historically bad takes. So I'd just like to put in front of Wittyngham first, Roy, his Giannis take. The Giannis take that he talked about Giannis as being only a number 2, and then Giannis immediately won the championship as a number 1 after almost breaking his leg. Let's hear the full take.
Giannis is probably the NBA's best number 2. Because I think it's kind of been determined that he can't be your 1. And like in terms of his specific skill set and the areas of the game in which he struggles, you can't rely upon him to get baskets at the end.
So is that more wrong than your take immediately after the Panthers, desecrated by you? I don't think there's anyone in sports media looking more like a fool around this hockey team than you, Chris Wittyngham. Welcome, by the way. It's nice to see you again.
Hey, guys. Glad to be back, as ever. Just play the take already. Enough. They tore apart a team that was amazing. Like, from a fan standpoint, like, I go to a lot of games, and I just enjoyed every night going to the arena thinking that the Panthers might score 10, because it was a legitimate possibility. They might score 10
they
goals.
only want the cup.
The coach came in is like, the style is going to change. We're going to play playoff hockey in the regular season. Listen, pal, if you're 6 points, if you're 6 points out of the final playoff spot, you're not playing playoff hockey in the playoffs. I enjoyed the team. I liked the team. It's been bad for the Florida Panthers for 20 years. I can't fathom that after 2 years of unprecedented success for this franchise, I'd be like, you know what? After that unprecedented success, we're done with it.
The pal is so important. It is.
The thing is that I still kind of back myself on that.
Oh, come on, man.
I still back myself on I don't enjoy this at all. Now, I haven't watched a single Panthers game this year, but I don't enjoy the way that they play whatsoever. I don't know about you guys. Did you not find the style like mind-numbing? The fact that no one can score a goal, no one can like get a shot off in this series is appalling. I would also say, obviously, a lot of this centers around the Matthew Tkachuk trade. I don't know about you guys, but I've never felt more confident about my opinion on that trade.
Listen, pal.
I just watched Matthew Tkachuk score 0 goals in a 7-game series. I watched him have a plus-minus of 0, while the Florida Panthers had a plus-minus of 10. I feel like he's contributing nothing to the cause. I think they are overcoming this albatross of a long-term contract that they have in order to still win playoff games anyway. I feel more confident in my takes from 2 years ago than I did even then.
That's gross. I love you looking up that plus minus thing. Just like, oh, maybe I can find something here. And you came back with 0. It's not like he's negative. You're like, oh, I looked up all these stats
but
I could find.
relative to the team was plus 10. He was 0. He's contributing nothing.
He's hurt.
He somehow last night, they won by 6-1. His plus-minus was -1 last night.
Wittyngham.
This guy don't know puck. He doesn't know puck.
No, this guy's a pro. He gets it. This is a hot take master.
Can we just...
You know what happened, Chris? Is I saw the Florida Panthers logo in the background behind Dan, and I was like, I need some armament. I need to look up a stat that's going to somehow back my opinion.
That's what you have to head into a war with, armament.
Yeah.
I don't like it's a mint from an armor. That's how Wittyngham enters a fight with a breath mint. That's how he begins.
Tic Tac.
Those red and white ones that you get at a restaurant that are in a bowl, that you only see at the bowl at the front desk of a restaurant. You don't see anywhere else in public.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you ever see these striped peppermints anywhere other than at that cheap restaurant?
What about the brown and green version of those? Because those are even more rare than the normal peppermint. I love that extra flavor. You've never had that? The kind of mint chocolate chip version
I've had it, but
I
I haven't seen it. A restaurant has never been so bold as to go that route.
Oh, really?
Wheels
American Cafe in Weston.
Did COVID kill toothpicks? Because I don't find toothpicks at restaurants anymore.
I still find them.
Really?
Yeah, hibachi.
I was walking out of a restaurant twice this weekend where I'm just like, where's the toothpick? I used to love grabbing a toothpick on the way out.
I hear you.
Kind of a gross thing to give out to people at a restaurant. You're basically saying,
like
pick
floss.
food out of your teeth in public. We're allowing you to do this very gross thing in front of others. Take care of it at home with some floss.
You're supposed to do it when you leave. You're not supposed to do it at the table.
It should be a tiny
Not at the table, but like you're walking, you're like standing in the parking lot fishing food out of your teeth. Like that's not.
I just chew the toothpick, right? Do you guys actually pick stuff out of your teeth? I'm just like,
no, it's just cool.
It's just a vibe.
Right.
Cinnamon toothpicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if they're minty, of course. But Whittingham's not wrong when he says, why don't you just give someone a little dental kit with a little toothbrush and say, why don't you clean yourself up on the way out?
A little deodorant on the way out?
Old dirty mouth. Why don't you clean that up, old dirty mouth?
Why don't we have one communal bottle of mouthwash? We all gargle and you can fix up your breath while you're on your way out as well. A little spit bucket, maybe?
Again, a breath mint connoisseur here. One Chris Wittyngham joins us. We haven't seen you in a while. How has it been? You've made some of the biggest and best goal calls, and you're on a surfboard at the top of your dreams. It makes me want to punch you in the face.
Yeah, honestly, I think I called over 2 legs maybe the greatest games that I will ever call. It's kind of wild to feel like I've already hit the peak of my career. We had the Champions League semifinal at CBS between Inter and Barcelona. It finished 7-6 over 2 legs, and every moment something was happening, and I felt like I was yelling for 2.5 hours straight. I have never been so committed to it. I woke up the next day sort of like with an adrenal fatigue, but honestly, it is kind of wild to be watching something unfold in front of you and go, I think this is as good as it ever gets. Like, I think even if, like, I don't know, by some grace of God, I call like a World Cup final or something, I don't think the game will ever be as good as that game was. And I don't know how much you guys are following soccer these days, but that Barcelona team is honestly as fun as any team that I have ever watched in my life. It is so ridiculously fun.
That's Stugotz going into the old wheelhouse and getting one of his Hall of Fame moves, where he's just like like he's been reading up on the magical arts of Barca.
That's what you've been doing with all your off time, Stugotz? Has been watching some Lamine Yamal highlights?
He's gone from soccer.
That would be a remarkable turn from you. If all of a sudden you showed up like, guys, after 3 months, I got into soccer. It's great. I'm watching Serie A every weekend now. It's unbelievable.
Not what happened. Instead, he just went to Vegas and saw 1,000 Krzyzewskis.
Serie A, by the way. I mean, know your soccer.
I want to get to this game show that we're trying to get off the ground here, where Zaz asked Tony hockey questions. But first, I want to. So he's not backing down on either of those takes. But from the room, which take is worse? The Panthers take or the Giannis take? Can I get
it's
some?
It's the Giannis take. It's
Giannis
terrible.
just went out in the first round. The Panthers are making 3. Like, I think the Panthers are. It was Giannis. Giannis is the gold standard. This Panthers take is just getting worse and worse by every round they advance.
The Panthers take is worse because you also have to consider he was at least portraying a Panther fan. Who bails on the team
he is the
when
one,
then they win the cup?
He became a Rangers fan.
He has to be the only Panther fan that jumped off the ship in the last 3 years.
He wasn't a Giannis fan.
Just pictured the Panther fan the last 3 years being like, I'm out on this.
Do you know how hard it is to be virtue signaling as Zaslow when you are saying that Paul Maurice is the murderer of fun and you fired him
twice,
and he can lecture Wittyngham about how wrong he is?
I kicked him out of my city,
and not be wrong, because Wittyngham, this part you are the most wrong on. You bailed on this team at the worst possible time after following them your entire life.
If you have courage of your conviction, you believe things even when things go against you. And I still maintain the courage of my conviction. It's as though you should still believe that Paul Maurice is the murderer of fun, because he is. He inarguably is. That style of hockey, I don't know how you guys watch it every night. I would be clawing my eyes out watching teams be unable to even shoot the puck, never mind score goals.
These words coming out of your mouth.
You call soccer for a living.
These words coming out of your mouth right now are a vomit.
There were 75 shots in that game. It was just one team taking
in the first 2 periods.
You can't say last night's game didn't have enough shots for you.
Well, I didn't watch it, so I must say my opinion is not very informed in this respect. I get like a score update. Can I tell you guys in a moment of actual revelation of how this team makes me feel? I check the score like once an hour, mostly for live betting opportunities. I'm kind of hoping that when I log on to my app that I see the Florida Panthers down. This year, I've decided I'm making money on my misery. So every time I see the Florida Panthers down, I race to live bet them because they seem to come back from deficits very often.
See, you're not watching, because that was the narrative like 3 seasons ago, the comebacks thing. I don't even think they really did that this year.
Like, in the first round, I made a lot of money in that Tampa series, live betting them when they were down a goal or down 2 goals. So it didn't really work in this Toronto series. They seem to have a lead more often. But I check it like once an hour, and honestly, I had a moment last night before I went to bed when I saw that it was 5-1 to the Panthers at that point. Obviously, they went on to win 6-1. That I was like, I just want this to be over. I don't, because Cody had texted me at 0-0, like, hey, can you come on the show tomorrow? And I was like, I would rather I come on if Toronto wins, but I don't want to do this. Logging on to the Zoom this morning was a suffering. I want this to be over. Carolina, please, I'm wearing a Hurricane shirt because I'm so desperate for Carolina to get this done. Please. For the love
He's the worst
of God,
Panther fan.
He is
the worst national and international Panther fan there's ever been.
No. He's not a Panther fan.
He's not a Panther fan.
He's a Rangers fan. And not only is he a Rangers fan,
I'll be back.
He's a Knicks
Listen,
fan.
guys,
Yeah.
once we all get over this collective struggle that we're going through as Panthers fans, when we all realize, we all wake up a morning and go, what were we doing with this Matthew Tkachuk thing and with this Paul Maurice thing? Let's like go back to playing real hockey again. I'll be back. But until then, I'm out.
You're not welcome. Not only did you become a Rangers fan, the Panthers beat the Rangers in the conference final last season.
Tell them.
It's bad for you, Chris. You're not welcome.
And blew up your blueprint, too.
They took something from them, too.
Yes, something was taken from you, and you sound hurt. I should say that Chris Wittyngham should be doing this interview from a bathtub, but he's a coward and also someone who does not pay his debts. He is somebody. So
listen, I did a show. I did one of these guest appearances last year from my shower. I don't know how I have not paid this obligation to you.
It's a bathtub. Also, the Leafs.
I don't have a bathtub.
Okay, well, we need to. It's not a punishment, grid of death. You decide how you're going to do it. It's a bathtub.
Right,
like
go
you
find
have
one.
to
Go to the local Home Depot and like call you from the Zoom and from one of their bathtubs on display.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nothing is enough for you guys.
What? Just pay your debt.
All right.
Look,
I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go to the office today and be like, "Hey, is any of you guys have an apartment with a bathtub? I need to do a guest sit on the Le Batard show."
Well, that's what you do.
Oh, you have nothing to do with your own success. We rocketed you to fame, and so you owe us this debt of gratitude by doing a show from a bathtub. It was supposed to be not one segment enclosed with no water. Like you said, like you did it the worst way. Like you did it the way you're accusing the Panthers of playing playoff hockey. Give the people entertainment.
All right. I'll be shirtless next time. I'll be in a bathtub.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
The Leafs held the trio of Barkov, Reinhart, and Tkachuk to just 4 goals in the series and still lost historically. Historically is what I meant to say.
Unfathomably. And that is actually kind of the thing that's most annoying about the Florida Panthers.
How deep they are?
I check the box score and I go, who are these people? Who are these people that are scoring goals? I legitimately learned of a name last night. Something with an F and a J in it. No, sorry. Gadjovic? Who is that person?
Jonah Gadjovic.
Who is that?
No
Where
idea.
did he come
He's
from?
a wrinkle that Maurice threw in.
Does he play?
He's a fourth liner who Maurice brought in game 3.
I'll tell you who he is.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
I'll tell you who Gadjovic is. Yeah. He's the guy who had twice as many goals this series, Austin Matthews.
Yep. Winner.
This is annoying.
I don't understand it. I legitimately, I don't understand. Also, how are you guys feeling about the Brad Marchand experience?
All right, so hold on a second. Mike Ryan won't come into work today because of his shame. I want to get, by the way, at some point today to the basketball because the NBA is officially back. And
back in a big way, Dano.
And we're enjoying hockey a little bit excessively this morning because the champs felt good last night. But is this take about the Detroit Lions by me worse than either one of Wittynham's takes? I will tell you that the team that I am talking about, the Detroit Lions, went 0-16 to become the first winless team, I believe, in the history of the NFL.
The Lions are going to be very good this year. The Detroit Lions are going to be very good this year. I own that comment.
Cheers.
Calvin Johnson is going to be really good this year. You know what you've seen so far from Ted Ginn? You've seen all of a sudden, you've seen Ted Ginn's second year. You're like, oh, well, look at that. Look, he's figured some things out. He looks a lot better than he looked last year. Calvin Johnson is a lot better than Ted Ginn.
Sure is.
He's a lot better than Ted Ginn, and he's a lot better this year, and he was a lot better last year, and he will be a lot better every year that they're healthy in the league at the same time.
Could be the best.
And I like Ted Ginn.
Could be the best tandem in the league, Dan. Sir, if Johnson's going to be
Williams
that good,
is amazing.
he's a freak.
Roy Williams is amazing.
Yeah, he's really
and I just think the Lions are going to be really good this year.
In your defense, Calvin Johnson
is the best part.
Yeah, but in defense,
he had a good year, Stu.
Calvin Johnson was good.
1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. It was good.
I think we're overlooking the Roy Williams is amazing part.
I will tell you that earlier in
he was amazing at Texas, to be fair.
Yeah,
I thought that the Panther take was worse than the Giannis take, and I realized after examining it, it's because of the sort of film that I felt hearing David Sampson's aluminum voice in the middle of that just being extra annoying, and it tipped it over the edge for me. It made that take worse than the other one just because Sampson's voice was in it. That one's worse than both of those, isn't it?
Well, Roy Williams only played 5 games that year for Detroit before being shipped to Dallas. He had 17 catches for 230 yards. So not great.
Was he amazing in Dallas?
He had
19
catches in 10 games, less than 200 yards, so not great.
So is that Wittyngham? Is my take?
The thing, though, Dan, in your defense, is that the lion's share of that take, no pun intended, is correct in that Calvin Johnson was incredible.
Yes.
The whole take was predicated upon Calvin Johnson being good, inexplicably compared to Ted Ginn in that context.
Yeah, but then
he certainly is much better than Ted Ginn.
Yeah, you nailed that, Dan.
Orlovsky ran out of the end zone in that season.
That was the problem.
Hey, listeners, it's Mike Ryan, and if you've listened to this show for 20 years, you know one action movie franchise that I believe stands head and shoulders above the rest. That's right. The Mission Impossible series is one of the few franchises that gets better and better, consistently raising the bar with set pieces, story, location, and character. This is a franchise that I've argued in the past should have won the Best Picture award. Tom Cruise consistently is upping himself and raising that bar with each Mission Impossible film as the real practical stunts continue to push the envelope in new record-setting ways. Tom's passion for entertaining audience has him, along with a dedicated cast and crew, pulling out all the stops to deliver the most thrilling, unbelievable feats yet. I simply cannot wait for this film. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, in theaters May 23rd. Hey everybody, it's Mike Ryan, and the boys of summer are already humming. They fixed the sport of baseball, everybody, so go out to a ball game. Sometimes tickets are harder to find, sometimes you want a better deal than what's out there. Well, Game Time is the place to check for Major League Baseball tickets. And now Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. You may be asking yourself, Mike, what does last-minute deals even mean? It means you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater, the whole gamut. Plus, you get all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows you the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. I know how much people hate that. I've been there. Hated it. Don't have to deal with it at Game Time. That's what makes it my favorite app in the marketplace. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Okay, so I thought I was good with money. Turns out I was really good at ignoring it. Like, how am I spending this much on delivery or Uber? Or that one shoe store that I buy too many shoes from. Then I started using Monarch Money, and dude, it's a financial wake-up call. Monarch's not just some budgeting app. It's basically your money command center. Puts everything, accounts, credit cards, investments, into one place so you're not guessing anymore. And listen, I found stuff I didn't even know I was paying for. Since I started using Monarch, I'm tracking my spending, actually saving, and yeah, even having money check-ins with my wife, and we're looking at each other and we're like, yeah, okay, we're all good. It makes the hard stuff way easier, and over 1 million households use Monarch. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So it's not just me hyping up, it's legit. It's real. Real deal Holyfield. And get control of all of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Don Le Batard. Florida claws back from down 2-0 because they were getting their asses handed to them by Toronto to then get lit afire underneath them by their head coach, Paul Maurice, who did the thing. Remember how the run was sparked last year? Stugotz. He called them a bunch of P's and B's. He did the thing again. Called them a bunch of P's and B's, and then, boom, 5 unanswered. You win the division.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I don't think that's your worst take of all time. You said at one point you'd rather face Roy Hibbert than Tim Duncan.
That is a good one.
Holy shit. What?
That's an all-timer. That Stugotz might have just ended the game. That is a thing that happened around here, and we don't have the sound of that. I had it scrubbed from the records.
In 2012, though, that was correct.
No.
Everyone was terrified of Roy Hibbert.
No, that was never correct.
No, it was. No, it was absolutely correct.
No, that was never correct. No one in the history of radio, other than Dan, sat here and sat down behind a microphone and said, hey, you know what? I'm scared of Roy Hibbert.
You don't remember what Roy Hibbert did to us then. You don't remember.
I remember what Tim Duncan did to
You know about that verticality?
Yes, exactly. Leapings, denying everyone at the rim.
Tim Duncan.
I mean, for God's sake, the Heat started Dexter Pittman in a playoff game to try and combat Roy Hibbert.
Yeah.
That's how desperate we were to solve the problem, only to realize that the problem has been solved for then and thereon because all we needed to do was go small. Small was the answer the whole time. And it was sitting in front of us. LeBron James at center was sitting in front of us the whole time, and somehow we didn't see it.
Witty, the funny thing about that take, historically wrong though it is, because my Lions take was wrong because Kitna got hurt at the beginning of that season.
But you were right on Megatron.
Thank you. But this one is worse. But what Wittyngham says, I will tell you what was the basis of that take. Because not only was it wrong, Stephen A. came on and I was saying to him, who in the world would you take over Hibbert against LeBron and the Heat? And he's like, Tim Duncan. And I laughed at him because at the point that we were living, those tree limbs of Roy Hibbert were making. I'll tell you why it is that this happened to me. I was watching LeBron in the gym practicing sky hooks because he couldn't do anything against, like he was trying. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I thought it was the floater.
No, it was floater as well, but it was also sky hooks because Hibbert was doing this thing where he's a giant oak tree and he's just running straight at you, and they hadn't figured out yet you got to get Gobert off the court.
Yeah. You know about that verticality?
Dante Culpepper started 5 games for that Lions team.
I just saw that too. I am shocked by that.
How could they not win once? God.
More interceptions and touchdowns for Dante. I mean, you would think that the formula of Dante Culpepper throwing deep to Calvin Johnson was unassailable in 2008.
Oh, in
and
Madden,
it
was
work.
unstoppable, Witty. You could play as that 0-16 Lions and beat anybody because you just have
For
Culpepper throwing bombs to Megatron. It was incredible.
Let me put up against the Hall of Famer. You guys decide who wins worst of the takes.
Go ahead, Andy Reid. I dare you to go 14-2 and allow Alex Smith to leave Arrowhead Stadium to leave Kansas City. Go ahead, I dare you. Because of Patrick Mahomes. Because you think you could turn Patrick Mahomes into something that Alex Smith is not. Alex Smith is a very good quarterback. The audacity, first off, to do this to Alex Smith, who's been very good and loyal to Andy Reid and won him a lot of football games, to dangle Patrick Mahomes out there because Andy Reid thinks he's some sort of quarterback whisperer, which he is not, by the way. He is not, because if he was, Alex Smith would be better than he's been the last few years. So I dare.
That's a record for contradiction.
It's on Andy Reid.
That is
the only reason Alex Smith is not better is Andy Reid.
That's a world record for Stugotz not paying attention to any of the things he said the sentence before.
I think we have a new leader in the clubhouse.
You fire Paul Maurice.
It's between that take and Witty with the Panthers. Those are the two fighting it out for the championship.
Do I have an OLI here when I remember what Stugotz's famous take was about Dwayne Wade and Pat Riley failing Dwayne Wade, and then months later LeBron and Bosch are here. And Stugotz, I believe, was.
But at the time, he was failing Dwayne Wade.
Well, at the time, Hibbert wasn't a scarecrow.
And also another one that I think stands the test of time for Stugotz, because I think that Dwayne Wade and his place in NBA history is underrated because of the period between 2006 and 2010 when the Heat didn't do anything. Those are Dwayne Wade's best years, and I actually don't think he gets nearly enough credit for how good he was as of the better of the players between LeBron and Dwayne Wade in 2011. He had a 5-year period where, honestly, Dwayne Wade should be considered at a much higher standing than I think he is now. I think it's because he wasn't winning at the best points of his career. I give Stugotz a fair amount of credit there.
I don't understand your condescending smugness when you're so very wrong in such a spectacular way while hiding beneath your courageous convictions.
Because I believe I actually am criticized for not liking Dwayne Wade enough. I think that in that period, and obviously his knees sort of failed him from there, but 2006 to 2011, after they win the championship, Dwayne Wade should have been like right up there with Kobe. He should have been right up there with LeBron, and he wasn't. And I think that is largely the responsibility of the Miami Heat organization for not putting more around him, and then they did. And then they did, and then his body failed him.
Roy, I'm throwing a lot at you right now because I asked you for that Wade sound, but in the end...
That Command F is working. That Command F is working right now.
Okay.
He's searching Wade. He's searching Dwayne. He is searching failed the city. There is a lot of searching going on that computer.
He's right. They're doing all that right now.
Yes.
They are.
He's familiar with the Command F.
But Roy, you have found the sound, and it can be played, though, because now we have the added problem of music being something that if it's playing is problematic. But you found sound that we can play. All right, let's hear. This, again, is, I believe, minutes before Chris Bosh and LeBron and Wade were coming up on stage. It might have been the day of, the morning of, before they came up on stage to a fireworks show. Here is Stugotz ripping Dwayne Wade, Pat Riley, everybody.
Has Pat Riley failed Dwayne Wade? Seriously. Has Riley and the organization, because Dan, all these other teams, all the other contenders went out and made moves, and the Heat haven't done a single thing. What have they done for Dwayne Wade? They got him Jermaine O'Neal, a broken Jermaine O'Neal. He's going to leave here, and he should leave here.
They got him Shaq?
Yeah.
And a championship?
Since then. Let's sell him on this notion of all these guys we're going to get next year. None of these guys want to come here. None of them. He's failed, Dwayne Wade. Failed the fans. Failed the city. That's a good take.
None of them wanted to come here. Then they all came here discounted.
Everyone, all of
they all
them.
came discounted. And that afternoon, they came discounted. So which is the worst of the takes?
Huh.
Is it still Mahomes?
Mahomes is pretty bad. Best quarterback ever.
The greatest quarterback of all time.
And he's halfway through his career.
You dared Andy Reid to get rid of Alex Smith.
Is there a
Roy
better
Hibbert.
Is there a better trade in sports though the last 5 years than the Panthers Kachuk trade? Like ripping that one.
He has 0 goals in this series.
Wait, you're not watching.
They've
still
made
he's still
like 10
affecting
better
the game.
trades since.
He's still affecting the game.
Maybe Trevor Rogers for Kyle Stowers and Connor.
All right,
with his
listen to me.
with his
A
0
box
plus
score
minus.
the whole thing.
You can't box score watch hockey, Witty.
All right, the whole thing has gotten away from me.
0 goals.
Look, this is insulting. This is insulting. The fancy lad comes back with his parasol, and he's been broadcasting the big games, and he thinks he could fake his way through a broadcast by just looking at a box score and doing plus minus. And I got enough knowledge here, even though I'm a Ranger fan who hasn't watched much hockey this year, and I'm a take master.
He just said, "How's the Marchand thing working out?" He's like arguably the second or third best player in the entire playoffs for us so far.
And Paul Maurice said he's a wonderful human being.
He is.
How's the Marchand thing working out is literally the worst thing you could say.
That's just him getting text from Mike Ryan, right? That's all that is.
I'm more sort of asking, or like, do you like him? Have you turned, and are you supporting him?
Only
as a fan?
Mike Ryan is struggling with that. If I have a rule in
Mike
life,
Ryan has a lot of valid points.
I have a rule. I have a rule in life.
Mike Ryan has a lot of valid points.
I have a rule in life.
You all should listen to him.
When it comes to the Panthers, I have a rule in life. If Barkov's cool with it, I'm cool with it.
So Jeremy's taunting me, saying you said Tom Brady was washed at 35 and he had another Hall of Fame career.
That's another good one.
That's another really good one.
But
That's a great one.
I didn't say he was washed. I said his deep ball. I'm not going to do this again.
You said he was done. I mean,
I did not say he was washed. I'm not going to do it again.
Okay.
But I did say that I draft Odin over Durant.
You did say that, yes. Durant was too skinny.
That's
not
because of
strong
Roy
enough.
Hibbert, right?
He was
It's all
only,
the same
he was
thing.
only
That was
he
printed in
couldn't
the
bench
Miami Herald,
185.
right?
He couldn't bench 185.
You know about that verticality?
Let me get the sound as a palate cleanser here before we get to the game show of just even Wittyngham, okay, who knows how to be an asshole and embraces his inner asshole. Even Wittyngham winced at hearing himself say this with smugness.
Listen, pal.
To Paul Maurice.
Listen, pal.
Dan, it's a key. It's a key term to make you sound like an expert. I mean,
He was so smug at the beginning of that season. I will never forget.
He was smug with
No, he was so
Really?
smug. When they start, I remember that first broadcast back in the old Fox Sports Florida days, I think, where they come on the air and they're like, hey guys, here's what's going to change this year. We're going to play playoff-style hockey all season long. And God almighty, what was the name of that third-string goalkeeper that like made ridiculous saves at the end of that first season?
Spencer Knight?
No. Alex Lyon? Was it Alex Lyon?
yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, everyone was bagging on Sergei Bobrovsky. As a matter of fact, speaking of bad takes, we did a month after the Panthers got eliminated from the playoffs on Spencer Knight is better than Sergei Bobrovsky.
Wait,
We did a month on that.
We did it during the playoffs.
No, hold on.
Yes.
We did a month on
Hold
that.
on.
We did.
And somehow I have the wrong take on the Panthers.
Witty, this is
What do you mean somehow you have the wrong take? The Stanley Cup champions.
Zaslow, you've been quiet long enough. Let him have it. Like you're.
He fired
I
the
mean,
coach.
come on. Somehow he got it.
No one here is
No,
qualified.
but Zaslow, Wittyngham is.
Murderer of phone over there?
Okay, but I can admit that I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong, and I'm thrilled that I was dead wrong. You're sitting there saying how the Panthers got it wrong, and they're the champions.
And you don't like Wittynham's general smugness about how this whole radio thing is beneath
I
him.
could do without the smugness.
Listen, pal.
0-0.
Listen, pal.
How many listen pals has Zaslow done in his career? He's the king of listen pals.
Listen, pal.
Oh boy, I love it.
Listen, pal.
There's
Listen,
no one
pal.
qualified.
You really should be ashamed to show your face in public, Wittyngham. Honestly, you come out here, you're just giving takes, and you're admitting to being unmasked as box score Charlie.
I mean, you're sitting next to someone who's made a career of it, so.
Anyone here, Tony tried to get in there with a Spencer
Well,
Knight?
thank you, Chris, for mentioning that. Chris, because poor Tony, I have felt for him because I've been trying to get to this game show for 35 minutes and we can't shut Wittyngham up and he can't be wrong even though he's wrong.
I want to participate in the game show. What's the game show?
Okay, this is the fun we used to have before you got here and ruined it by doing all the things that you do that range from going from Panthers fan to Rangers fan to I'm not wrong for doing that to they're the champions. Like, it's asinine. Like,
Let's go Canes.
Okay, you can be as stubborn as you want, but Tony in the middle of that, who has had to endure this 3 straight summers, was so excited when you asked who was that third string goalie to yell Knight into the air.
Ooh, I know a goalie name.
He couldn't have gotten the first name, but he got in a very small window with the knowledge of there's a Knight to be thrown into the mix here.
It's also the Star Spangled Banner, right? Where they yelled Knight. That was the joke from last week. It was like, Knight!
It was the wrong Knight, though.
Oh. He was there somewhere, right?
So, are you ready to play this game? Who's going to lead it? Zaslow, do we finally have the game show music? Thank you, from the maniacally grinning Roy Bellamy.
Okay, everybody, welcome to another edition of Tony Knows Hockey!
First edition, but okay, let's go.
Another edition. Yes, I'm Jonathan Zaslow. I'm your host. Everybody knows I am a game show host. And the way today's game works is we test Tony's knowledge of puck. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
First up, anyone want to take the over-under of 1.5 correct answers out of 5 for Tony? Any action?
Under. I believe in my friend. He's getting the over.
Thank you.
Going over 2. I'm going over.
Even money on both sides. Over, under 1.5 correct answers. First up, Tony, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Give us the definition for icing.
Definitions, huh? I mean.
No, but that...
Icing. Okay, so they take the puck, right? And they shoot it to the other side, but there's nobody on the other side. And it crosses the blue line, and then the goalie has to go and get it, right? And then they're like, hey, there's nobody over there. You can't do that.
You know, wait a minute. I think that question was too generic.
What makes it icing, though?
That there's nobody over there. You can't just do that.
That's not what makes it icing.
There were a lot of answers wrong there.
He's got that one. That's
nope,
the correct
he had
answer
the
for me,
colors
Clive.
of the lines incorrect, and he said that the goalie went and got the puck. That is incorrect, Tony.
We can't get him a half correct?
Incorrect,
he's also
Tony.
the judge. You got to shut up. He's a game show host.
So what makes it icing? Honestly, I don't know.
The puck has to be shot from the other side of the center line.
Okay.
It crosses the goal line.
Okay.
And then the other team touches up before you do. Icing!
Has to pass 3 lines.
Oh,
essentially.
gotcha. Okay. So pass the blue line at some point.
That's one of the lines it goes by.
It's an unfair question.
Let's not ask for definitions anymore.
Thank you.
Next up, Tony, are you ready?
They don't call me Tony Puck for nothing, baby. Let's go.
They don't.
What
It should be Puck Tony.
What
Been a lot of
is
those.
a line change?
Oh, this is when guys jump off the bench and then other guys switch, right? So they switch the lines. They go from one guy to another guy. Yeah, you're out of here. But then if you got too many guys, you got a penalty for that.
That is correct, Tony!
Honestly, extra credit as well for getting the
Nice!
You knew the penalty, too?
We have now entered the portion of Tony Knows Hockey where audience members can ask Tony a question.
Tony.
Do we have any volunteers?
I have one. What is the area that the goalie stands in called? The blue area that the goalie stands in.
The blue area that the goalie stands in.
This is a good one.
You
do know this.
It's the net.
When you know.
Oh, no.
No.
That would be
stand in the nets.
The crease.
You knew that. You knew that.
The crease, of course. Between the pipes.
Imagine some
Would that have
guy
been
in
acceptable
Toronto
too, between the
listening
pipes
to
or no?
this.
That's what's beating you, Toronto. Toronto, Dade County
There's
is
a guy in
Dade County is full of that. They're going to wander over about game 2 of the final round, and then they'll be in the streets with pots and pans. That's what
Toronto ever heard of La
Carreta in the world.
Losers!
They care about this more than anything in the world. Last night, Brad Marchand was making the argument that Toronto cares about it too much.
Nobody
to
understands.
Win. Too much to win.
Nobody understands how insulting it is that in the swamp picture has 6-1 last night.
He stands in the nets.
That's it.
He does. Again, just to recap the last answer, Tony believes the goalie, the painted area in front of the goalie is the net.
That kind of thing.
Tony, when both teams are even strength, how many players does each team have on the ice?
Wow. Even strength means no penalties. Nobody's in the penalty box.
Well, that is what even strength means. That's not one of the questions.
So you've got the goalie.
That's one.
Okay, on both sides, obviously.
Well, I'm just doing one team.
Just one team.
We're not asking you to name the
goalie,
positions.
Okay, the goalie, that's one player.
And 5 on the ice. So 6 total.
That's correct.
Wow.
He hit the over. He hit the over. Wow.
Wow.
Woo!
Tonight,
if you're just tuning in now, everybody welcome. This is another edition of Tony Knows Hockey.
It's not another one.
First
It's
one was
just the
done.
first
It's
one.
another edition.
We'll do it next week.
I don't know if there'll be a second one.
There's for sure more terms that I don't know, so there's always there.
Certainly we can cover hockey better than this. It's a championship team.
The next question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I apologize, Stugotz. That was rude of the game show host.
That's okay, go ahead.
You're referring to yourself as game show host third person?
Everybody knows I am a game show host. My name is Jonathan Saslow, and this is another edition of Tony Knows Hockey.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Tony, are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
What is a chirp? Let me repeat. What is a chirp?
Chirp is when you're skating by a guy you don't like. You give him a little chicken wing on the side.
I like that.
That's
technically
judges. No, that's fakery. It's not
a chirp. Talking shit to
chirp
guys.
Is verbal. A chirp is verbal.
It's verbal. It's not a
chicken
chicken wing.
Hit him with a chicken wing and say, "Yeah, you suck."
We have a judge. I mean,
we do have a judge and game show host.
Yes.
I am also a judge in addition to a game show host, and therefore my ruling.
And a doctor. He's also a doctor.
I am not a doctor. Also, my ruling is that is incorrect.
The chicken wing. You had it until you said
Wittyngham.
With prejudice.
There it is. Thank you. An excellent, another edition. Another excellent
This
edition.
has been another edition of Tony Knows Hockey.
All right. We're going to do basketball next because I can't alienate the audience anymore.
Why couldn't I have been on for that segment?
What would you have to say about basketball?
I'm a Knicks guy now.
Yeah.
Oh, turn him off.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out of here.
I'm a short Amtrak away from Madison Square Garden, and I got to tell you, I watched one video of Jon Stewart celebrating with various celebrities. For me, it's the fact that the celebrities care. The Lakers fans are there to be seen. I feel like the Knicks fans are actual fans that have been there through thick and thin, through suffering, through absolutely no success, and I actually believe their sincerity when they sit courtside. I have to be honest. I enjoyed watching that. That was a fun scene.
All right,
over the weekend,
Wittyngham,
watching the Knicks win that game.
Stay there so you could go full heel. Like, you're embarrassing.
I love it.
You are. You're like, you used to be a South Floridian. I don't know what you are now, other than un arrepentido. Like, that's it.
Wow.
I've proclaimed it. Tremendo arrepentido. Sinvergüenza.
Wow.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Ryan. You know I'm a race fan, you know I travel to races, and I had a great experience a couple of weeks ago sitting outside the RV, toasting the good times with Miller Lights in hand with some of my best buddies. It was truly a memory that I'll remember forever, and truly a time that was made better by making that time a Miller time. Trust me when I say, there just isn't a better feeling than hanging out with your boys, clanging those beautiful white cans of Miller Lite, and realizing that you don't got to worry about the taste of your beer because the taste of your beer is designed for people who love the taste of beer, a taste that you know you can depend on. A great beer trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. From game night to race night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/stand to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.